I'm Dr. Dave Choksi. You've probably heard a lot about the more contagious Delta variant of COVID-19. In New York City, Delta is causing almost all new COVID-19 cases, which means that if you're not vaccinated, you're much more likely to get infected. But all of the authorized COVID-19 vaccines do offer strong protection, particularly against severe illness. Delta is concerning, but there is hope. Vaccination is our way out of this pandemic.
Have you been to Express lately? People can't get enough of their clothes. They're like instant confidence boosters. The jeans come in a temp control fabric that keeps you comfortable no matter the weather. And the t-shirts, hands down, they'll feel like they're made of the softest fabric you've ever worn. And get this, the suits have stretch and look sharp. Like, what? How do they do that? Everyone's raving about the newest looks from Express. Just check out the 5-star reviews. See for yourself and shop the latest at express.com and in stores.
I'm Dr. Dave Choksi. You've probably heard a lot about the more contagious Delta variant of COVID-19. In New York City, Delta is causing almost all new COVID-19 cases, which means that if you're not vaccinated, you're much more likely to get infected. But all of the authorized COVID-19 vaccines do offer strong protection, particularly against severe illness. Delta is concerning, but there is hope. Vaccination is our way out of this pandemic.
Have you been to Express lately? People can't get enough of their clothes. They're like instant confidence boosters. The jeans come in a temp control fabric that keeps you comfortable no matter the weather. And the t-shirts, hands down, they'll feel like they're made of the softest fabric you've ever worn. And get this, the suits have stretch and look sharp. Like, what? How do they do that? Everyone's raving about the newest looks from Express. Just check out the 5-star reviews. See for yourself and shop the latest at express.com and in stores.
All right, well, welcome to your week in review. And tonight, guys, back by popular demand, Mr. Casual Wrestling Fan is here to co-host the show with me and talk about everything going on in WWE, give me his thoughts on the releases towards the end of the show and if WWE is going to be sold, as well as playing a little game at the end where we get to fire 3 men and 3 women each from the current rosters. It's a blast. You're not going to want to miss this one, guys. Mr. Casual Wrestling Fan and myself starts right now.
Welcome to the WWE Podcast, your number one source for the latest in WWE news and straightforward analysis. Are you ready to get this thing going?
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
Then let's get this show started right now.
Hey everybody, welcome to the WWE Podcast. It is Sunday, June 13th, 2021. And buckle up, guys, because we have Mr. Casual Wrestling Fan back by popular demand, as I've mentioned, and he is here to discuss everything going on in WWE. And boy, oh boy, does he have some takes that I think you're going to want to hear. As always, I think he is just so well-spoken, number one, and he has views that I don't think a lot of us are thinking about. He has a way of looking at wrestling that is just different than most, that it's fun to listen to somebody talk about wrestling that is not the same way that most people do, myself included. I mean, I think he should have his own damn show, if you ask me. But he is always a great conversation, and we talked for 2.5 hours about wrestling this week. So if you like long-form audio, certainly this one's going to deliver as we completely dissect nearly everything. We didn't cover every little detail, but boy, oh boy, did we dive into some topics pretty deep. Fantasy booked a little bit, and then had fun with our game at the end where we got to fire 3 people each from the men's and women's divisions. Of course, in our fantasy lands, not actually advocating for these people being fired, but a really fun conversation, guys, with Mr. Casual Wrestling Fan. Again, very well spoken, fun to talk to, and I'm sure we'll hear from him this coming week on the mailbag. And if you have your thoughts on our conversation here, let us know. I mean, we are interested in your feedback from our conversation, so send it to us. You know, email us at realwwpodcast@gmail.com or call in this week with the mailbag 518-952-0247. I've also upgraded, if any of you care, I've upgraded the mic this week. I've actually got some new hardware. I went from the Yeti. I was using the Yeti mic, which was fine for a while, but one of them crapped out on me. I had another spare one, but I said, you know what? It's time to upgrade, right? It's time to upgrade my standard of living. Spend money on things I already have. But for real, I think this one sounds better. So maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't. This is actually, I'm using if you do wonder, some people do ask, I'm using the Shure MV7. That's the mic that I use. And it's not the SM7B. That's a much more expensive microphone. This one's kind of like the middle tier. But it's a brand new mic, and I'd really recommend it, by the way. So far, I love it. It's the Shure MV7, for those of you that care. If you don't, well, cool. You get to learn something anyway. All right, well, we're going to get to the conversation in just a minute. I would like to invite you, though, to head on over to patreon.com/WWE podcast because not only is it to help support the show, but beyond that, if you join, you get a Discord server link that you can use. It's a private one for all of our listeners or all of our supporters on Patreon. And we're going to use that during the pay-per-view next Sunday night. So a week from tonight, as I record this anyway, we are going to use that server to talk about everything going on in real time on the pay-per-view, give in-time real reactions and complaints and praise and whatever else you want to talk about in the Discord server. So if you want to join that conversation, and I'll be on that server all night, giving my in-person thoughts and responding to you guys. It's really for you, not necessarily for me. Head on over to patreon.com. I'll send you that link when you sign up, and it'll be a really fun time talking about everything going on that night in wrestling, because Hell in a Cell is coming up a week from tonight. So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. As always, I'll be bowing out now as we're going to head to our conversation. Quite a long show tonight. It's one of our top 10 longest shows. Not a complaint, especially if you love that long form audio. So I'll be back Tuesday night with your Monday Night Raw review, and then you guys know the schedule the rest of the week. So thank you to everybody listening, and as always, I'll talk to you next time. All right, everybody. Well, this is back by popular demand. This man is back because of you, the listener, who have emailed me, asked me, hey, you got to bring him back. When is he coming back? And as we always do here, we're all about customer service here at the WWE podcast. We have serviced you, the listener, to bring back the Mr. Casual Wrestling Fan. Welcome back to the show. How you doing, man?
Yes, sir, Matt. Doing good. Shout out to everybody in the WWE podcast. I'm glad to be back, and we're going to have some fun tonight.
Yes, we are. And I know that the listeners have fun with your mailbag that you send in every week. Sometimes it's a voicemail. Lately, it's been more email. And boy, oh boy, do you cut promo. I can hear your voice through the emails. I don't know what it is. Every single time that you write in, you cut a promo on me or say things that purposefully annoy me about things that are going on. It's good stuff. So we're going to get to the weekend review. At the end of the show, just so everybody knows, we're going to get the Mr. Casual Wrestling Fan's take on not just the releases, but also a hell of a question he posed to me at the beginning of this show before we aired. Who would we fire? Who would each of us fire? Three guys or gals that are on TV regularly, not jobbers, if we had to release 3 people today on top of the releases that we've already gotten. So that is going to be saved for the end of the show. How about that for a hook? So guys, stay tuned for that. But we're going to jump into this week in WWE. 1 week out from Hell in a Cell. Really only 1 month. Just 1 month until fans are back in the flesh. I don't think anybody can wait for that. But I got to ask you, what do you really love about what's going on right now in WWE?
I got 2 words for you. Acknowledge him. Roman Reigns. The Raised, defended, uncontroverted, undisputed, Universal Champion of the world, the Tribal Chief. He is the man. He's the boss. He's whatever you need him to be. He's that guy. I love it. I love everything about it. You know how I feel about the bloodline word. But Roman Reigns is doing his thing.
There's no question Roman Reigns has been the highlight of not just SmackDown. I mean, we all know he's carrying SmackDown on his back. There's no question about that. Other guys and gals, I think, have done their job on SmackDown outside of the Roman Reigns storyline. It's been a much, much, much better show than Monday Night Raw. I think not just SmackDown is the show he's carrying. I think he's carrying WWE in totality. Yes, I know he's not on Raw, but it feels like this guy, without this storyline, I think a lot of fans, even more than they already have, would have tuned out. And the ratings aren't great, but I think Roman Reigns is a guy that has been one of the foundational pillars of the pandemic era, and it's going to be awesome to see him back in front of a live audience doing what he does, and I think it's going to be up from there. Now, I got to ask you, before we get into what happened, but very quickly, because there are so many rumors floating around about who Roman Reigns is going to face next. I mean, yes, we know Rey Mysterio at Hell in a Cell, but the rumors, two guys, and I'll name them for you. You know what I'm going to say, but I want to know what you think the probability of this happening is. John Cena and The Rock. What do you think could happen, if anything, or do you think this is all just kind of just rumor mill stuff?
I'm going to be honest. I think there's some validity to these. Number one, because obviously WWE is going back on the road. So I do think it's a high probability of John Cena. And I ain't going to say, you know me, 50-50. I'm not going to go over the edge. 50-50 chance John Cena comes back. Hopefully it's a one-off. I'm not really a John Cena fan. I think Rock is a lot lower of a chance, maybe 25%. Or maybe that's something they run out towards WrestleMania if it's not Drew McIntyre. But, you know, it wouldn't shock me if it was John Cena, honestly. How about yourself?
I think, lately it's been The Rock as a hot topic about how they want to set something up for Survivor Series that leads to a match between them at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas in front of 80,000 people. So, I don't know if that's swaying what my opinions are about The Rock versus Roman Reigns. To me, I would say 50-50 on The Rock, and I would say 25% on John Cena. And I'm not doing it just to go against what you're saying, because I still think there's a chance John Cena does. But I think the story for The Rock and Roman Reigns is deeper than just John Cena and Roman Reigns. Because number one, we've already seen Roman Reigns and John Cena. I understand it was many years ago, 3-4 years ago. And Roman Reigns was in a much different position as an uncomfortable babyface that couldn't cut promos and got absolutely shredded in front of a crowd against one of the best on the mic of all time, John Cena. But the storyline is almost just there to be taken with The Rock as part of the family, the Samoan heritage. He could come in and immediately, challenge Roman Reigns as head of the table. The storyline is just ripe for the picking. I think The Rock is a slightly higher chance than John Cena, and actually I'd want to see The Rock against Roman Reigns if I had to pick, more than I'd want to see John Cena against Roman Reigns.
I'm Dr. Dave Choksey. You've probably heard a lot about the more contagious Delta variant of COVID-19. In New York City, Delta is causing almost all new COVID-19 cases, which means that if you're not vaccinated, you're much more likely to get infected. But all of the authorized COVID-19 vaccines do offer strong protection, particularly against severe illness. Delta is concerning, but there is hope. Vaccination is our way out of this pandemic.
Have you been to Express lately? People can't get enough of their clothes. They're like instant confidence boosters. The jeans come in a temp control fabric that keeps you comfortable no matter the weather. And the t-shirts, hands down, they'll feel like they're made of the softest fabric you've ever worn. And get this, the suits have stretch and look sharp. Like, what? How do they do that? Everyone's raving about the newest looks from Express. Just check out the 5-star reviews. See for yourself and shop the latest at express.com and in stores.
Looking for a foundation that can multitask as well as you? Maybelline's Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation is it. What does it do? More like, what doesn't it do? It's oil-free and non-comedogenic, so it won't ever clog your pores. It controls shine for a full 12 hours. It refines your pores so your skin looks smooth and perfected. It's lightweight and breathable, so your skin will never feel heavy or cakey. And it comes in 40 shades. 97% of women found their perfect shade. It's obvious why Fit Me Matte and Poreless is America's #1 foundation. Buy yours now in a bottle or pouch at Amazon.com.
And I agree that I would prefer to see The Rock Roman Reigns. That's a great match. But is that something that we're going to give away before WrestleMania? I mean, that could literally headline WrestleMania. It's been a while since we, got back out here and to feel normal again. Hopefully 2022 is in Dallas. It's going to be rocking. Think about the crowd just booing Roman out the door, Rock getting a great pop, and I think that's the move. And like I said, I'm pretty sure WWE they need ratings, but SmackDown is doing good. So I think you give the people John Cena. A lot of people want to see the Cena match right now. I think it's something you can blow off on for SummerSlam. And like I said, I'm not here for John Cena, but I know a lot of people is. And I would like to see The Rock, but I would want them to hold that. That's Roman Reigns, Rock, WrestleMania. You know, Roman's been champ over a year and a half. You know, he's done defeated everybody. Everybody's praying and hoping, Rock, please beat him. Take it from him. It's been over a year and a half. You know, I think WrestleMania is the way to go. And I hope that Roman will beat The Rock to give people the ultimate. Send them home mad. Let's not send them home happy. Send them home mad. Roman's still champion, and go from there.
That is something too. Now we're also not even looking at the fact that both of these could probably happen. I think there's a slight chance that both of these things happen. And I think there's a solid chance that both of these happen with John Cena versus Roman at SummerSlam. And then something happens with The Rock later in the year, leading to a match at WrestleMania. I think that's probable. Do I think it's likely? No, but I think it's probable and or possible. But you're right. I want people to be angry because you think The Rock's going to come back. Imagine the pop, number one. But number two, you want The Rock as a legendary figure to take down this big-headed egomaniac of Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And like you said, then The Rock fails. That's actually what I want. And I'm a massive Rock fan. I want someone to beat the hell out of Roman Reigns. But I'm actually willing to forego that happiness for the character of Roman Reigns that is something special going on right now. I actually, like you said, yeah, because The Rock winning, what would that do? The Rock goes back to Hollywood and Roman Reigns is left standing there a bit demoralized for what? So to me, Roman has to win both of these matches if it happens.
And I totally agree. But let me switch a little bit. What do you think the probability for Brock Lesnar to come back to face Bobby is?
I think it's good. I actually think it's a higher chance than out of all three of these. I would bank on Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley as the most likely to happen. Do I think it's a foregone conclusion? No, I would put it slightly ahead of the chances of The Rock coming back, meaning maybe like a 60% chance. Don't ask me how I'm coming up with this math. It's just believe me. I think that Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley is something that should happen. I think they hinted at it even a little bit on Monday Night Raw, either last week or the week before, mentioning about Brock Lesnar. He was mentioned in passing, and Bobby Lashley referred to him as that some other guy. I think that's the phraseology he used. So they kind of mentioned him in passing, so that might set a little bit of a seed in for Brock versus Bobby. I think it is more likely than John Cena and or The Rock. What about you?
I agree. I think it's a big, hopefully. I mean, that will be a great match. And I agree. I put it about 60. You know, it's hard for me to gamble high on WWE because they're so sporadic, but I would love to see Bobby Brock. That's a great match. I don't want to get into the Paul Heyman issue because I personally don't think it's possible for him to represent them both. But I feel like Bobby Brock will be great. Where do you give it away at, though? Do you do it at SummerSlam, or do we push it past SummerSlam? How would you play that?
I actually may do SummerSlam. The reason I may do SummerSlam for that is because who else is Bobby Lashley going to face? I mean, they are running out of baby faces. They've already run out. I mean, they're trying to recreate Kofi Mania, which is not working. They have Drew McIntyre this coming Sunday night at Hell in a Cell for the final time, presumably, and we can get into this, but I think presumably Bobby Lashley's going to retain. I think he should. I don't think anybody wants to see Drew McIntyre as champion again for a long time, or even mention, I don't want the words WWE Championship coming out of his mouth for like a year. I don't even want to hear him talk about it anymore. So I think that after Drew is done and he goes off and does his own thing, who does Bobby face? I mean, I really don't know. So I think Brock Lesnar, it may take a few weeks, maybe at Money in the Bank or something like that, Brock Lesnar shows up and gives Bobby Lashley a 1 or 2 match run. What about you?
I would like for that because you know how I feel about Drew. I'm tired of seeing him in this title picture. You know, Miss Casual Wrestling fan and my daughter, they love him. They want to get the belt back and do the Drew McIntyre COVID thing all over again. But me personally, I'm not here for that. You know, it's really stale to me that Drew, you know, he keeps getting opportunity and I'm just not here for that personally. I hope Bobby retains, but I'm going to be honest with you. I really think Drew has a high chance of winning this match. And it's the wrong move by WWE. I'm totally against it. But we cannot ignore the facts, you know, that's coming up. They're saying this is Drew's last chance. There's no baby faces for Bobby to face. They're going back on the road. You know, it just seems too prime to say, put the belt back on Drew. Drew will have plenty heels to face, and he can go back and do everything he did like he did last year in front of the crowd. I'm against that thought process. I think Bobby Lashley is the current wave, and we should ride him out. And but to form a quick question within our discussion, does Brock come back as the face?
Yes, I think he does. The reason is because he has to. The lack of baby faces on Raw is so strikingly large that it goes from Drew McIntyre down to Kofi Kingston. And look, I'm not a Kofi fan. People know that. But I think that they are trying to recreate something from, 2 years ago. And we're supposed to be invested in a character that never talked about his championship loss to Brock for 2 years. And all of a sudden he just remembered, I didn't get my opportunity. That's right. They are pulling at straws right now. While I love Brock Lesnar as a heel, actually a little bit more than a babyface, I don't think they're going to have a chance to really make him a heel because they are so lacking in big baby faces. They have no option.
And that comes into our next problem. Assuming Bobby beats Drew, assuming Brock comes back and Bobby beats Brock, you're back at square one. I mean, you still got it on a heel champion who doesn't have other. And granted, they do have time to try to establish some top baby faces, but I really feel like that takes time. You don't establish a top baby face overnight. You know, it's something that has to be organically done. The fans have to get behind said person. I mean, I even took time to rewatch the Royal Rumble from 2020 where Drew won. And when Drew came out, his pop wasn't as big as MVP's pop. MVP's pop was loud. Drew's pop wasn't that loud. But when he eliminated Brock, the fans got behind him. And I'm not saying he wasn't a top babyface before then, but I'm saying that moment was when the fans said, this is our guy. And I think it's going to be hard for WWE just to put somebody to say, hey, Kofi, go recreate it. You can't do that. Hey, Xavier, try to recreate it. Try to help Kofi recreate it. He can't do that. You know, I'm totally over the New Day personally. I don't like Xavier Woods at all. And Kofi Kingston, I do like that conversation he had with MVP.
I was going to ask you that.
Hope,
yep.
Yeah, I hope that leads to something. And I know everybody's thinking, well, maybe he joins the whole business. I don't think that's the way they're going to go with it. If we remember with Apollo, he had that conversation with Paul. And after that, we got a whole new Apollo that had nothing to do with Roman Reigns. But because Roman just put that extra rub on him because it came from Paul, it worked. And I think they're trying to recreate that, hopefully. And I'm all here for a Kofi heel character.
I hope they do it. I think the New Day, now I've said this for I'm seriously years and years now, since, I don't know, probably 2016, 2017, that I think the New Day's run its course. But, you know, I understand from a business perspective, from a monetary perspective, if they're raking in merchandise sales, I totally get why they keep them together. They're a for-profit organization. You know, just because something may be running ragged and completely overused doesn't mean they're not going to keep running a group or a champion out there if that person's making a lot of money for the company. It's so, you know, just because something's old doesn't mean it's not making money, especially with kids that are the ones, you know, really the consumers, but the parents are the ones buying the merchandise, the cereal, the unicorn horns, whatever. And I don't know what the merchandise numbers are on the whole New Day gimmick anymore. If it's going south, you'll know by the fact that they break them up, like you said with Kofi Kingston. But you asked about, well, what do they do if Brock comes in, he loses to Bobby, and then they're back at square one. Well, they're doing the draft a week after SummerSlam this year. So they would only need to get Brock to SummerSlam, presumably lose to Bobby Lashley, which I hope he would, because I actually want Bobby to keep going. And then just get to the draft. You only have a week to get to the draft. That's, you can do anything that week. So immediately you get to push the reset button that following week after SummerSlam. So really, they only have to get through like 2 months and change left with the current rosters as they are to get to that reset button. Hopefully an influx of NXT, not everyone, but maybe an NXT guy or gal here or there, I think would do some real good here. So, and presumably even, I'm hearing rumors of Finn Balor coming back to the quote main roster. So that's the one good thing, guys. 2 months or so, and we'll be back to hitting the reset button with the draft.
I'm Dr. Dave Choksey. You've probably heard a lot about the more contagious Delta variant of COVID-19. In New York City, Delta is causing almost all new COVID-19 cases, which means that if you're not vaccinated, you're much more likely to get infected. But all of the authorized COVID-19 vaccines do offer strong protection, particularly against severe illness. Delta is concerning, but there is hope. Vaccination is our way out of this pandemic.
Sports have a way of bringing us all together. And at Sleeper, we developed a fantasy platform designed to make leagues more fun and personal. Sleeper includes an integrated chat and every feature you could want for your NFL, NBA, and even esport leagues. Plus, it's completely free with no ads. See why millions have made Sleeper the fastest-growing fantasy platform. Download Sleeper on the App Store or Google Play today.
Looking for a foundation that can multitask as well as you? Maybelline's Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation is it. What does it do? More like, what doesn't it do? It's oil-free and non-comedogenic, so it won't ever clog your pores. It controls shine for a full 12 hours. It refines your pores so your skin looks smooth and perfected. It's lightweight and breathable, so your skin will never feel heavy or cakey. And it comes in 40 shades. 97% of women found their perfect shade. It's obvious why Fit Me Matte and Poreless is America's #1 foundation. Buy yours now in a bottle or pouch at Amazon.com.
And there's only one problem with the draft. If there's not a lot of NXT call-ups, SmackDown doesn't have a lot of baby faces either. I mean, Roman Reigns fought KO 3 times. He didn't fought Edge and Daniel Bryan, who Dan Bryan's not there no more. Edge is, a 5-fight contract or something like that. He's got Cesaro. He knocked him off. Now they just made some with Rey Mysterio. Roman is going through the same problems as well on SmackDown. I mean, they have a few more baby faces because obviously everybody want to see Big E come in, but without a lot of NXT call-ups, which I hope for, NXT does have good wrestlers. I don't watch NXT like that, but I do catch it when I can. Finn Balor definitely needs to come up, and they need to bring up a lot of other people too, and hopefully they can get it under control. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, it's just getting to the point now where it's just painfully obvious, especially on Raw, that they need something different to do beyond deal with a haunted doll that is main eventing Monday Night Raw. I mean, some people may say, well, they've done Hocus Pocus before to end Raw. Like, what about The Undertaker? Bray Wyatt's ended Raw. It's different with Alexa because, number one, Alexa Bliss, I'm a big fan of Alexa. I like what she's done. She has reinvented her character in a big way. She added to the Fiend character a lot. I think Bray should be grateful for Alexa and what she's done, especially when Bray wasn't there and Alexa was there to torment Randy Orton for 4 months. The only thing I have a problem with is the fact that it took them 2 months to put Alexa Bliss in a storyline and not just sitting backstage on her make-believe playground, talking to a doll that apparently has demonic powers. And I get it. Like, we've seen wacky things in the past from WWE with their Hocus Pocus magic. I understand that. But when it main events Raw with a doll, like a doll is apparently chasing Shayna Baszler throughout the arena, and no one's backstage, except for the cameraman. Oh, and the cameramen are in every convenient location in every room that she happened to go in. But I guess before I keep going, what did you think? Maybe you have a better or a more positive spin on this. The ending of Monday Night Raw this week with Shayna Baszler freaking out over stepping on Lily and then Lily, basically using all of her superpowers to scare Shayna Baszler.
Well, man, if you thought I was going to have a positive spin on this one, you're wrong. That was some crap.
I tried.
That was literally crap. And let me say this up front. I personally like cinematic aspects that WWE does from time to time. I like the Undertaker Boneyard match, and I know a lot of people did not did. So I don't have a problem with cinematic. But that, oh no, I'm not here for that. Alexa Bliss character, when we talked back in January, I had a total different perspective of her than I do today. I am totally over the character. And, I know a lot of people might not be as far gone as me. She's been playing with dolls, swinging on a swing set, but yet people have a problem with a zombie lumberjack match. At least you got to see the zombies do some type of action. You got to see them wrestle to some degree. Alexa Bliss, all you've seen from her is a punch. That's it. She threw some punches. Lily got stomped on. I don't even want to waste my time with this. You got it, man.
All right. Well, I mean, really, if you guys heard my Raw review, it was pretty scathing for this segment. I'm not a fan of cinematic, so this doubled down on my dislike for this. The Boneyard match, the more I watch it, the more I think I'm also kind of coming to terms with the fact that it's not as bad as I originally thought, because it's also Undertaker's last match, which certainly helps out things for me. But that's beside the point. Since I don't like cinematic, though, that doesn't help. And then you add a haunted doll, which that doesn't help, especially a haunted doll that's just been sitting there on a swing for 2 months, and we're all supposed to be scared of it. I'm not buying it. And Alexa Bliss has not been in a real program other than sitting there creating empty threats to the entire women's division, and we finally get her focusing in on a particular female wrestler. The only good thing I could say about this, if I'm trying to find something to grasp at, is that Shayna Baszler's finally out of the tag team division, it seems like. Her and Nia have split, and seemingly split civilly. They're not going to have a program together. I think that's smart. I don't know. I don't want to see it because they're both heels. But Shayna Baszler is on her own now, which is what we've all been asking for, I, myself included. So she's solo. I think she does her best work solo. But the problem with that is, as I argue with myself, is, well, she's now in a program where she's scared of dolls. And she's backstage and she's kicking mirrors to get the reflection of Lily out of her head. I don't know. I want to see more than anything the follow-up to this on Monday night, because this was critically destroyed by fans. I think I would say 80 to 90% of the things I saw on social media towards this were just destroying this segment. So is that perhaps one thing you can take away, though, is that Shayna Baszler is at least on her own now?
I mean, man, I'm be honest, I don't like it. Shayna Baszler's career is in jeopardy currently. Let's be honest. This can ruin her career. We're not talking about a program where she looks bad. We're talking about a program where she could get buried. Shayna Baszler needs to stay away from Alexa Bliss. This is not good for her at all. I'd prefer to see it with Nia Jax. To be honest, compared to this, you're going to lose Shayna Baszler. We lost Bray Wyatt, and granted, we know now that, he's dealing with issues, and that's fine. Everybody has mental, problems from time to time, and his friend close to him. I totally get that. But Alexa has not did Bray Wyatt any favors. This doll is going to end Shayna Baszler's career. Like I said, I would pull Shayna away from this as quick as possible.
Yeah, I guess that is the one massive downside. Even though she's alone, I think everyone knows the outcome is going to be Alexa Bliss goes over, and then where does Shayna go? You're right, and she's going to be running around scared for the next 2 weeks or whatever, or maybe Hell in a Cell's where it ends. I don't know.
And think about it.
Yeah,
Shayna Baszler's already 17-17, 50-50 booking at its best. That's all they think of her. She's going to end up being a jobber. And that's crazy to say. Yeah. I know people are like, what? Shayna Baszler? Braun Strowman just got fired. Don't think it's beyond the realm of possibilities for Shayna Baszler to become a jobber.
That would be a damn shame. I think Shayna Baszler's got a lot to offer. But like you said, actually, there really isn't someone worse that they could put Shayna with now that I'm thinking, because Shayna Baszler's a serious, got a legit MMA credentialed background, and you're putting her with somebody that she has to act scared with, and that will immediately undermine her character and what her character is about. And Alexa's going to go over. We know this. So, yeah, this is, given the choice of destroying Shayna Baszler's career or seeing her back with Nia Jax, I think we all know that we choose back with Nia Jax. So, okay, I think the follow-up on Monday is going to be absolutely, just fascinating to see whether or not they respond to the fan criticism or just say, F you, fans. We're going to continue with the hocus pocus. I'm very interested to see. But, okay, well, let's continue on here. Let me go back to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins this past week was on Ding Dong Hello, Bailey's talk show. WWE loves them some talk shows, whether it's the KO show or Jericho's show. Carlito had a show at one point, Cutting Edge, the Peep Show with Christian. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross had a talk show. They just, for whatever reason, somebody's in love with the talk show format. So Bailey has hers, and fine, whatever. And we get guest host or guest appearance by Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out. Seth Rollins and Bailey laugh together about Bianca Belair, and then laugh about Cesaro getting beat up. And then, oh boy, I'm kind of mixed on this segment myself. But Cesaro, you hear a ding dong, and someone's at the door, and Cesaro's at the door, which that's the part I had the biggest problem with. Actually, is Cesaro playing along, and how did he get to the door with nobody seeing? And why is he playing like house with these two? I don't know. Instead of his coming to ring like a man. But anyway, so he beats down Cesaro, or he beats down Seth Rollins pretty badly while he destroys Bailey's set. And then we get Bianca Belair coming out to just laugh at Bailey. So what did you think of this segment?
All right, man. For all the people that are listening, when you heard a knock on the door, was anybody like, who is that? Or did everybody know? I mean, that was was my point. Like, I heard the knock, oh, this is Cesaro. Oh, you want to get it? Yes, I'll get it. It's your show. I can get it. I love Seth Rollins, though. Love it. He plays his role. Seth Rollins is the drip god. He's the drip king. Boy, hey, his fashion sense, for the people who don't know drip, that's fashion, that's swag, that's, those type of verbiage or nouns or whatever. Not big on English. But anyway, Seth Rollins, he's playing his role. I love him. He's them eyes. I don't know if it's the eyes. I don't know if it's how he talks, his dress. It just fits him. I wasn't big on the segment because, all that laughing don't do it for me. I get it. Bailey's doing a new thing. It's different. Hey, some people like it. Some people don't like it. I'm not too big on it. I like Bianca. She's doing good right now. I'm getting tired of WWE because they're doing it with both of their women's champions. Both of the women's champions are playing a similar role as the rookie. And they have veterans playing the I'm the vet role, and I'm going to take advantage of you.
Summer is not just reserved for the weekends. It's time to say goodbye to your old vacation and say hello to Camelback Resort in the Pocono Mountains. Plan a midweek getaway and save up to 25% when you book early. 2 water parks, indoor and outdoor, with over 50 rides, slides, and attractions. Newly renovated suites, and you can take the fun off-road with the new Switchback UTV tours, private campfire experiences, and more. Book your Camelback vacation today at camelbackresort.com. Aquatopia always included with your stay. Restrictions apply.
Hey, New York. There's still time for lots of summer fun in the city. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Get yours today. Visit nyc.gov/vaccine-finder or call 877-VAX4NYC.
If you're committed to building healthy habits, let Noom put psychology to work. Noom's award-winning program takes a cognitive behavioral approach, helping you form sustainable eating and exercise habits that last. With Noom, no food is off limits, and there's no counting calories either. Instead, Noom gives you the expert guidance and ongoing support you need to achieve your health goals, all backed by leading evidence-based psychology and nutrition science. Start your trial at Noom.com/balance. That's NOOM.com/balance.
That's really getting kind of old because you see it on both shows. So that's my biggest sticker point with the whole situation with the titles and with the promo as well. So I give it a 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I think it ultimately did serve the purpose it was out to set. Meaning, you were happy about, most people were anyway, about Cesaro getting some revenge on Seth. Seth, again, plays his part very well. The outfits he comes out with every week are just absolutely, I mean, that's actually one of the things I look forward to, is to see the most ridiculous thing that he could wear possible, whether it's the I don't know, loafers with no socks, or, you know, what, leather, everything. I mean, he just doesn't care, and it's hilarious. I mean, I'm not knocking him for it. I think it's a good thing. But yeah, this segment, to me, it served its purpose, right? I mean, you got Bianca getting some kind of retribution, albeit just laughing. You got Cesaro getting a little bit of revenge on Seth Rollins, and it leads to a match presumably at Hell in a Cell. Now that you touched on Bianca, though, I would have to say Bianca, if you were going to compare her side by side with Rhea, I think feels much, much more like a champion than Rhea Ripley has been feeling, or how she's been presented, than Bianca. I think Bianca has been booked fairly well compared to Rhea Ripley on Raw, who just feels like they don't know what the heck to do with her. It feels like Rhea Ripley is a heel 1 minute, a babyface the next, but kind of in between, and they don't know. And you have Charlotte Flair chasing Rhea Ripley, Nikki Cross kind of the super underdog babyface in the middle of this. What's your take on the Raw side of the women's division?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure I'm a little higher on Rhea Ripley as champion than most people. Because let's rewind back to right before WrestleMania when Rhea Ripley came up to face Asuka. Everybody, including myself, was high on this. This is the wave. This is the move. Everybody said, yes, put the belt on Rhea. We tired of Asuka. She's not doing much with it. We tired of Asuka. Rhea Ripley, granted, they're not booking her like they should, because she went into WrestleMania heel. You know, she was supposed to be the heel. Asuka was supposed to be the face. And literally the next day, you try to bring back a super heel, Charlotte Flair, for them to have a triple threat. So obviously Asuka's the face, Charlotte's the heel, and Rhea's the tweener. So that puts her in a bad situation. You know, you don't know whether to like her, whether to not to like her. I like her personally, but that was short-term booking. They booked her to be a monster heel, but here comes the real monster heel in Charlotte, who's doing a great job. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people disagree with me. I hope Rhea beats Charlotte at Hell in a Cell. I hope she retains. I hope they run this out to SummerSlam, and then Charlotte can take the belt from her. But I do feel like Rhea has earned the opportunity to hold the belt, and she's doing the best she can with it, with a super heel Charlotte, who's just playing her role.
She is. Charlotte is playing a role, and the thing is, we all know it's inevitable that Charlotte gets the belt back, probably sooner than later. I think that in normal circumstances, I would get the belt off Rhea quickly and kind of do some repair on her. And at least when I say repair, I don't think she's an unpolished performer. I just don't think that what they've done with her has maximized her strengths. Like, she's good on the mic. Obviously, we know her in-ring ability. She had some kind of clunker matches with Asuka. That she's cleaned that up. She's gotten better, at least in my eyes, on Raw. I've seen her in NXT, but she did not have a good match, especially compared to Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, which is almost unfair to compare. But I don't think that they've done a nice job with her character. I don't like the flip-flopping and back and forth and not knowing what to do. I think that creates ambiguity and creates indifference. I don't want to feel indifferent about the Raw Women's Champion. At the same time, Asuka, who was inexplicably ignored for 6 months, 6 months to more, 6 to 10 months, as Raw Women's Champion, buried on the roster, completely ignored, forgotten that she had a championship. If given the two options, of course I would choose Rhea to be champion. And yes, we did. We were excited about Rhea versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. And I was in support of that. And now we're seeing that follow-up is extremely important. Yes, you can get a result, but the question then becomes, well, what do you do with it? How do you follow up on that? It's not just about how do you get there. It's once you get there, what do you do? And it feels like what they've done with her, it just feels like it's not a solid path for her. It feels just kind of like she hasn't found her footing. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Her footing, it kind of feels uneven, and I don't know what to do with her. And maybe that changes over time, and maybe they do have a longer-term plan for her. So you're right. With a WrestleMania victory, I always like those to stick at least for 6 months through SummerSlam. Perhaps they do keep the belt on her, even against the superhero of Charlotte, and then they move on to maybe, I don't know, whatever is beyond SummerSlam. I didn't even look, Night of Champions or something beyond that. Maybe they do drop it then. And so perhaps there is a bigger plan. I feel very kind of just don't know what to feel for Rhea. I like her as a performer. She's got a great look. She's good on the mic, although they haven't been able to give her lines or whatever. Being able to show that hasn't come through on camera anyway. And she's really good in the ring. She's got every tool. I just feel like I haven't seen that full potential yet.
And I totally agree. But that's a creative problem. I really think they brought in to be the monster heel. And I don't know why nobody thought, hey, Charlotte's coming back. She's going to be our monster heel. And I think that's the problem. Honestly, Rhea, she's done what she needed to do as champion, as a person. She's done what she can. I agree. I don't think they're booking her well. And they are putting her in that tweener situation, which is not good for her character. And that's the problem. And creative has to clean that up. But I think Rhea Ripley herself, I think she's doing all she can do.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, when I'm criticizing this, it's not on. I'm not criticizing Rhea Ripley, who I think is more than ready to be on the quote main roster. I think she has all the tools, as I said. It's just it comes down to this creative that they've given her. For example, when not this past week, but the week before, when they were talking about Hell in a Cell and I'll see you at Hell, and then I think Rhea comes out and she says, "You can go to hell." It's like, that's so scripted. Like, that's too cute of a line, and it came from a writer's brain. I don't like that kind of crap. It feels like they're just micromanaging her every step rather than just giving her a longer leash and say, you know what, go. Do your character. Just make sure you hit this bullet, this bullet, this bullet. We know you're good in the ring. Go. It just feels so It's a micromanaged version of Rhea Ripley. That's maybe why I don't like it. And I don't know what to think right now. So perhaps that leash gets a little bit looser as the time goes on, and I hope it does. But I don't know.
And
go ahead.
I'm sorry. And also they making, which is another problem, Charlotte Flair is an established star. I mean, we all know that. 14-time woman champion. The greatest woman to ever do it.
She's the opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, she's the opportunity. Love it. The problem is they're making her look too strong. I mean, monster heels can look weak. And they let her give Rhea the natural selection when Rhea should have gave her the Riptide. We can see Rhea being, she needs to look dominant. It needs to look as if she can beat Charlotte. She did it in a triple threat, and Charlotte wasn't even involved in the decision. So I feel like they're positioning Rhea wrong.
It could be. Yeah, they this past week, yeah, I do know the spot you're talking about, and I think that lack of strength that we're seeing, at least booking wise, from Rhea Ripley does not help. At the same time, Charlotte Flair is on a comeback of her own. I mean, we're looking at this in kind of a vacuum, but Charlotte Flair by herself, since her return, has been generally on fire. Her promo she came back with was one of the best I've ever seen from her. She's changed up her look a little bit. She's wearing the Cruella DeVille outfit stuff, and that's fine. All those little things add up, though, to me. And her in-ring style is still good, very good, excellent at times. There's no problem there. She's such the alpha female, though, of the entire Raw women's division. It's so obvious because she's, like you said, an established star. She knows who she is. Fans know who she is. Fans know what she's capable of. Fans know she's going to get the belt back eventually. It's just a matter of how long can we hold it off, right? Like, the ocean's coming. How big of a sandcastle can we make to hold off those waves, right? Like, and eventually, you know that you're in a losing battle from the beginning. Like, you know you're going to lose. But let's see how long we can keep the ocean or Charlotte away in that analogy. But yeah, I wouldn't mind them booking Rhea a little bit stronger. I have no problem with that. But I'd rather not even stronger. I want character development beyond. She's the kind of the goth, different looking girl. Like, if people have not seen Rhea Ripley before, and that's the assumption I'm going with people that don't watch NXT, maybe you've heard the name, but you have to assume that not everyone has seen you. And you have to go on that assumption. It would be silly to just go, everyone knows who you are. You don't need to really do a whole lot of development. No, you have to start really from ground zero. I want to know about Rhea Ripley. Why is she here? What's her background? Give me some depth. And I think that's really a common problem throughout the entire WWE product. And look at Braun Strowman, for God's sakes. And we'll get to him a little bit later about his release, at least your thoughts. But with Braun Strowman, you talk about a one-dimensional character. A guy that's just angry and destroys stuff. That's it. That's all we knew. For his entire career.
I'm Dr. Dave Choksey. You've probably heard a lot about the more contagious Delta variant of COVID-19. In New York City, Delta is causing almost all new COVID-19 cases, which means that if you're not vaccinated, you're much more likely to get infected. But all of the authorized COVID-19 vaccines do offer strong protection, particularly against severe illness. Delta is concerning, but there is hope. Vaccination is our way out of this pandemic.
Have you been to Express lately? People can't get enough of their clothes. They're like instant confidence boosters. The jeans come in a temp control fabric that keeps you comfortable no matter the weather. And the t-shirts, hands down, they'll feel like they're made of the softest fabric you've ever worn. And get this, the suits have stretch and look sharp. Like, what? How do they do that? Everyone's raving about the newest looks from Express. Just check out the 5-star reviews. See for yourself and shop the latest at express.com and in stores.
It's movie season. We count down your favorite movie classics, including When Harry Met the Bathroom, Close Encounters of the Third Bathroom, A River Runs Through the Bathroom.
For someone suffering with sucrose intolerance, a favorite movie often ends in the bathroom. If you're experiencing chronic diarrhea, gas, stomach pain, and bloating, remember, sucrose intolerance, or CSID, can be diagnosed by your doctor with the aid of a sucrose breath test. Visit sucroseintolerance.com.
So, I don't know. I think character development to me would be number one for Rhea.
And yeah, they need to work on that aspect of her, and I totally agree. But that starts with strong booking. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I think that's the number one problem. Yes, they need to work on her character development. Now on Braun, and I know this is probably an unpopular opinion too. I didn't have a problem with his character development. I don't think everybody needs a deep backstory. I don't think every wrestler needs me to feel, oh, you went through this in your life, or oh, your favorite color is this. I don't need that. Braun Strowman is a wrecking machine. He's mad all the time. There's people in life who are just mad all the time. You don't know why. They don't know why. They're just angry. They spit, they slobber, they scream, they yell, they slam, they pick up heavy stuff. That's what they do. That's Braun Strowman. He needs no extra. I didn't need an extra character from him. He's not deep. He don't need to be deep. I think what you see is what you got. And I think Rhea Ripley is kind of in that same predicament. I know this is an unpopular opinion. You know, some people need a character like Damian Priest. He needs character development. You know, I like Bad Bunny. I like what they did, but that did no favors for him. And if you've seen him in NXT, from what you're getting today, those are two totally different iterations of each other. And he's in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point too, Damian Priest. My goodness. Yeah, he's since the Bad Bunny thing. I mean, I eat my words about how Bad Bunny didn't. I thought he was going to be an embarrassment at WrestleMania. We all know he wasn't. I still don't like the storyline, and especially celebrities constantly going over every time they visit WWE. I think it makes everybody in WWE look like a fool. But Bad Bunny certainly busted his ass, and I give him all the credit in the world for just absolutely just jaw-dropping performance for the time he was given and everything else. So absolute credit to him. But yeah, Damian Priest is still, talk about it, a fall from grace with him. It's not a good look for him. But all right, I want to shift gears because otherwise, we won't get out of here for hours. I don't want to do that. So, Big E, Kevin Owens, Apollo Crews, and Sami Zayn in their tag team match here. First of all, I thought this was a really good match. I really, really enjoyed this. I actually thought, and this may be an opinion that I most don't agree with, and how about that? I thought this was pay-per-view quality. Not that it was a classic. It was just, if they stuck this on a pay-per-view, I would have been like, that's totally passable and respectable and a really good match. But I don't know how you could expect anything less from four absolute professionals. And I really loved what they did here. Yes, Kevin Owens went over. He hit the stunner on Sami Zayn and beat Sami Zayn to win the match for his team with Big E. And then at the end of the match, we have Apollo Crews getting his heat back by saying, I didn't win or I didn't lose, and it was because of this idiot Sami Zayn. And then Sami Zayn gets the Nigerian nail, also known as a Samoan spike. And then we get a announcement that next week it's going to be Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz versus Kevin Owens and Big E for really the in-ring debut of Commander Aziz in a tag team match next week. So were you high on this match, and what do you think about next week with Commander Aziz?
Great match. I mean, it was honestly a good hard-hit match, but honestly, we talking about four wrestlers who bring it night in and night out. So I was very high on the match. Sami Zayn funny. That Nigerian nail is bad. I love it. Hey, everybody who keeps saying the Samoan spike or talking about it, it's the Nigerian nail now. We watch wrestling, we can change names.
Yes, we can.
The Nigerian nail. Hey, I love how people sell it. I honestly, Kevin Owens selling it is so funny. I love it. But the match was great. I think they're pushing Commander Aziz a little earlier. a little early. I do feel like I liked him in his role as just being the protector. But, maybe he's great in the ring. We'll see soon. I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be some type of hanky-janky going on. It's going to be a good match.
Yeah, it is. And the one thing I'll say, too, if I was going to put any negative on this, anything, I mean, it's hard because I love all four of these guys in the ring. I think I could watch like a fatal four-way ladder match with these four, and it would be, I think, an instant classic, given the work rate of these four men, the experience between these four men. I would love it. Any combination of these four is great. So we'll see with Commander Aziz what he brings to the ring next week, which I would assume is nowhere near the style of these four men, given his size and limitations. But it's still fine. Not everyone needs to look the same in their style in the ring, which I think is another bit of a problem in WWE, that everyone kind of feels the same. Everyone's got the same moves other than their finish. Anyway, the one thing I was going to say is Big E, we understand that obviously he's not going to get revenge on Aleister Black for getting Black Mass a couple weeks ago. I mean, we know that. But can he please stop referencing New Day? Can he just at least change his colors a little? Can he stop doing the New Day clap in the middle of his match? Is it just muscle memory? Is it just out of habit that he's doing these things? I don't think it's doing any favors for him, because he's supposed to be on his own, having his own run. I know he's not in a high-profile match right now. I know that they probably have plans for him down the line. Probably next in line to challenge, maybe challenge Roman Reigns, although maybe they wait later down the line for that. We'll see. But he is certainly a future contender for Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. But I need him, if he's going to get there, stop connecting yourself to the New Day. You're not in the New Day anymore. You are on a separate brand. Drop the colors, drop the New Day clap, drop the act. Just he doesn't have to be a totally new character. Just distance yourself from it, man. Otherwise, you're just going to be still looked at as the guy that's part of the New Day. So that's the one thing I'll say.
I guess you didn't know New Day rocks.
That's the clap. I couldn't get it in my head. That's what it was. Thanks. Yeah.
Oh Lord,
that's a new thing.
New Day rocks. But I totally agree. Big E, he does need to distance himself from the New Day, and I'm not saying he needs to be mean or the new Braun Strowman,
right?
But I agree, he does need to get away from New Day colors. And I don't know Big E personally. I'm not big on interviews, but I don't know if he likes his iteration, if he wants to change his iteration, or if this is WWE saying, hey, you need to stay in this iteration. What do you think is the combination of why he's still in his New Day persona, even though he's on a separate brand, and even though he's changed his music?
I think a lot of it is creative. He hears the criticism loud and clear. He's shown signs of him able to be serious. I mean, he cut a really serious promo against Apollo Crews a month or two ago. I think it might have even been before the WrestleMania match. I can't remember because they've been fighting each other for so long now. But he's shown glimmers of hope that he can be something other than just this wacky pancake throwing, gyrating big man that's great in the ring. I mean, so it's there, but I think it's mostly creative. We don't know. Obviously, we would just be sitting here speculating because we have no idea. We're not involved in the production meetings. We're not in his head. We have no idea the conversations he's having with Vince are creative. But if I was to just kind of ponder a guess, I would say that it's mostly creative because when they have something they don't know what to do with, they go back to what brought them to the dance. They go back to what they are comfortable in, their comfortability zone, even though it's a kiss of death. They go back to what they know works. And it's the Big E. He's doing the clap. Yeah, it's just it's kind of a placeholder because they don't know what they want that Big E character to be. I don't know if Big E does, but it's so hard to say because it's all speculative. Again, I would put most of it on creative, but who knows? Either way, he is a future contender for the Universal Championship. I think we can both agree on that.
And we can, and I want all the fans to take a second right now. Let's take Big E. Now, I know it's like a backseat driver. Everybody sees better if they're not in the room. I'm being honest. I don't know if I know what to do with Big E and what his iteration of his character should become. I think that is a hard question. What would you have his iteration be? Because honestly, I don't know. I don't know. He can't be the strong, angry guy. He's going to keep his preacher talk and his laugh and zaniness. I mean, if he's still zany and doesn't acknowledge New Day, that's not helping him either because he's still New Day.
Right.
So I think, what would you do? Because I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Well, what I would do is I would take baby steps, really small baby steps. In other words, what I would do is keep his music the same. I mean, at least he's not coming out to the New Day music. At least I don't think he did this week. He actually has his own established singles music. First thing I would do, though, is strip him of colors, the New Day colors. Like, pick a color. It doesn't have to be black. Like, we don't have to go with the serious black, tone. It could be, I don't know, dark blue, right? Like, but don't do the rainbow references. I know it's Pride Month, but I don't need rainbow references for really tying back to the New Day. That's one thing. But if it was nothing else, maybe just for a few weeks, changes attire a little bit, and then maybe changes in ring style. It's not to where it's completely different, but just have the announcers drive home. Wow, this Big E's never done that before. He's got a different look in his eye. Just kind of plant seeds here and there for little stuff. Now, do I know what that ultimate end game is? What do I see with Big E? That's a tough question, like you said. I don't know, but what I would know is I would get the answer possibly along the way by adjusting these things on camera. And sometimes on camera will give you answers to that next step.
Hey, New York. There's still time for lots of summer fun in the city. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Get yours today. Visit nyc.gov/vaccine finder or call 877-VAX4NYC.
Gym sessions and sweaty summer activities are back, which means more funky smells in your clothes because sweat leaves behind bacteria that causes those hard-to-remove odors. Clorox fabric sanitizer products are ready to zap the stink out of fabrics in your home by getting rid of 99.9% of odor-causing bacteria. Eliminate odors in every load or sanitize fabrics between washes with one of our fabric sanitizer products. Search fabric sanitizer at Clorox.com to learn more. When it counts, trust Clorox. Use as directed.
Have you been to Express lately? People can't get enough of their clothes. They're like instant confidence boosters. The jeans come in a temp control fabric that keeps you comfortable no matter the weather. And the t-shirts, hands down, they'll feel like they're made of the softest fabric you've ever worn. And get this, the suits have stretch and look sharp. Like, what? How do they do that? Everyone's raving about the newest looks from Express. Just check out the 5-star reviews. See for yourself and shop the latest at express.com and in stores.
I think that's the way I would do it.
I like that. The only thing I do is turn them heel, but it seems like when WWE wants to save somebody's character, they turn them heel and it works. So turn them heel.
we got a heel shortage, so that's a good idea.
Yes.
Oh gosh. But it's credit to all four men. This was a really, I was bell to bell involved in this match, and I was thinking to myself, why am I so into this match? And typically it's just another tag team match. No, this was really good. I loved the chemistry between these four. Commander Aziz, again, we'll see what we got here. I actually want to see Kevin Owens hit him with a stunner. I want to see Commander Aziz get his, and that's the success measurement of a storyline that's working. I want to see Commander Aziz get his ass kicked, and that's the good thing. So we'll have to see. And you talk about a revived career with Apollo Crews. Man, oh man, that guy has completely shifted his career by just adding an accent and bringing up his Nigerian heritage. It's unbelievable, and I'm really happy for him.
And it's crazy the flack he got the first week he did it. Now it's full circle and it's great.
Right.
I loved it from day one. Honestly, it's great. His accent is spot on. He it's so funny. He plays his role. I know I say that a lot, but he plays his role. He does what he's supposed to do. Commander Aziz does his thing. One thing, WWE, can we stop a podcast, people? Can we stop saying Commander Aziz, a.k.a. Dabba-Kato? He changed his name. Mm-hmm. We're moving on.
Well,
but
yeah.
He plays his role great. Quick question. I don't like the stunner on Kevin Owens. Do you?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Stone Cold, we all know, obviously, was adopted from Austin. I'm fine with it because he can hit it on anybody, right? You want to finish that you can hit on anybody. He can't hit Commander Aziz with a pop-up powerbomb, or some bigger guys. It would be much more difficult to hit your finish on. So I'm fine with it from that perspective. I understand that Austin was it was his baby, and it is the most recognized finish of all time in professional wrestling. And he got the blessing from Austin. I mean, he has said that he called Stone Cold and had a conversation about it. And I think Stone Cold told him, if you're going to do it, kid, do it right. And, it doesn't look like Stone Cold. He's not doing it exactly the way Austin did it. But he's not Stone Cold. You're never going to get it exact. I mean, only Austin can do Austin. I'm fine with it. I know that you're not a fan of it, but for a babyface character of Owens, you talk about the ultimate babyface move of hitting a stunner. I mean, look what the pop he got from hitting Logan Paul at WrestleMania with the stunner was one of the biggest pops of the night. Maybe if he goes back heel, he gets rid of the stunner and goes back to the pop-up powerbomb, because the stunner is so over as a baby face move. But I'm okay with it. I think the only time I did have a problem with the stunner being used was when John Cena was doing it at like the springboard stunner that he just could not do. He was so robotic with it. It was just bad, and he eventually dropped it. But I'm okay with it.
I don't think he looks ugly when he does it. I don't think he does the move justice. And I'm gonna be honest, every move has been done by somebody. So I get it. Moves are borrowed, you request to borrow it. But I feel like some moves, Seth Rollins in the pedigree, Kevin Owens in the stunner, I feel like some moves, some wrestlers just make that move so famous that it's like, hey, I can't really, I shouldn't do that, even though they do, and even though they get permission, versus the figure four, which that's a heel move. Heels love that move. It works. But the stunner, the pedigree, those was made ultra famous. Next, people going to do the rock bottom, a.k.a. the booking. I just think some moves should be, how they retire numbers, they retire some moves.
I think there is an argument to be made to take moves that are so iconic and leave them with the icons that made them famous, like the super kick, right? Like Shawn Michaels' sweet chin music. And sadly, that is one of the most used moves as a transitional move in WWE. It's a travesty how often Shawn Michaels' finish is used, and I understand Dolph Ziggler has adopted it, kind of in a wink and nod to the fact that people have called him the next Shawn Michaels. So he's like, well, I might as well be HBK. So he's at least adopted it as a finish, but everyone else uses it as a transition or a near fall. When in reality, if someone hits you with that move, I mean, you talk about a knockout shot under your chin, someone kicking you under. It's a knockout shot, and it should be a finish. But yes, should some finishes possibly, is there an argument to be made to protect them? The stunner, the rock bottom, the pedigree, the tombstone. And yes, there is an argument to be made. But I think that creative has said, well, guys, it's a really over move, the most popular babyface move of all time. It would help out Kevin Owens in this instance. It's been, how many years since Austin's last match, like 18 years since Austin's last match in 2003. Why not bring it back, allow him to recycle the move, and hopefully build some fan support. I think that's their thinking. Would I have done it? I actually wouldn't have. I actually would have said no. Come up with your own finish, because that's Austin's. So I don't. Now that I've seen it, and I've seen it long enough, I don't hate it, but I understand why they do it.
Yeah, and I get it, but like I said, it's some moves that I kind of, what we're gonna do when people start doing Tombstone.
Oh God!
And then when people are not doing it to the level of success or to the level of viewing power that the original person had, like DDP did the cutter before Randy Orton. We know that, but the way Randy Orton does that RKO, I can come from anywhere at any time, drop you right here where you stand. I never want to see somebody outside of Riddle, because it's cool, they work together. I never want to see somebody do the RKO as their permanent finisher. That just shouldn't happen. That move is too over. And don't piggyback off a legend's success with a move and say, hey, I need to get over. This will get me over. I think that's lazy. That's lazy booking.
I hear you. Again, I'm not a huge supporter of this, but I just understand why they did it. Again, I will stand by it. Would I have done this? No. I would have told Kevin, stick up with your pop-up powerbomb or come up with something else. I'd also like Big E to get rid of the big ending, because that's one of the. I'm sorry. Look, I love Big E in the ring. He's so good, and on the mic, he's a cartoon character. And we talked about him, but do you agree that Big E should come up with a different finish, or am I in the minority here?
Oh no! That finish, it. I tell you this, I bet it's comfortable for the person taking it.
Oh, they probably love it. Yeah.
Yes. Hit me with that. Yeah. And if honestly, Big E, I wouldn't want him to jump through that rope and knock me off the side of the ring onto the floor. That looks like it really hurt. Like that, you can't fake that.
I hold my breath every time he does that. Yeah.
Yes. That's a concussion waiting to happen. But nevertheless, yeah, the big ending, it sucks. In comparison to how big he is, he needs a big finish, and that is not a big ending.
It's really ironic or kind of a twist of fate, pun intended, that it was such a strong guy that can bench. I mean, I think he's held like the bench record among the boys in the back. And I forget how much he can bench, like 575 or some insane amount of weight that he can bench. He's the strongest guy on the roster. And yet he does a finish that anyone can do. I mean, the women can do it. I could do it. It's such I don't know. It's so weak looking. And it's just a flapjack, but he's also protecting the guy going down, and it's obvious he's protecting the guy going down. It's bad. I mean, Big E needs to just maybe that's one of the small tweaks I was talking about. Change your finish. I know that's easier said than done, but come up with something. Come up with something that maybe no one's using right now. I don't want a recycled one, but I don't know. Maybe that's one of those things. So okay.
Let him do the rock bottom.
Oh God, no! And it will. No. Oh God. All right. Well, you did touch a little bit on Randy Orton and Riddle. Are you enjoying them together as RK Bro?
I love it. And the reason why I love it is perfect. Me and you, which I'm assuming from what I've been hearing, you love it too. We love it for two total different reasons. You can't stand Riddle. I can't stand Randy. And we both love the same thing from each other's person's perceived like you like the Randy Orton portion of it. Yep. I like the Riddle portion of it. The key thing is funny to me. It's hilarious. I did kind of see a little shake in the RK Bro, like when he threw the key in the trash and, when he came out there and Riddle did play with Kofi. And I'm upset that Riddle lost. I really feel like they should have put the loss on Kofi. So the stuff the MVP told him kind of could have sucked in a little deeper, possibly. But I loved it. I was up here rooting for him. He did the DDT. I'm like, yes. Randy, finish him. He like, no, I ain't ready yet. And he tried to do the Randy. It just didn't work. I like it, though. I like they camaraderie together. I think it's a good match.
Hey, New York. There's still time for lots of summer fun in the city. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Get yours today. Visit nyc.gov/vaccine finder or call 877-VAX4NYC.
Sports have a way of bringing us all together. And at Sleeper, we developed a fantasy platform designed to make leagues more fun and personal. Sleeper includes an integrated chat and every feature you could want for your NFL, NBA, and even esport leagues. Plus, it's completely free with no ads. See why millions have made Sleeper the fastest-growing fantasy platform. Download Sleeper on the App Store or Google Play today.
It was. And I actually thought they were going to win the Tag Team Battle Royal. I don't know why I was sucked into believing that. I thought for sure, that they were going to win. And they're the only ones that got entrances on the show. I mean, everyone else was already in the ring, and you're like, oh, well, they're clearly going to give the victory to the people they actually cared about giving an entrance to. So they didn't. And then he lost later in the night. Was it Randy that lost later in the night as well?
Riddle
did, yeah. So you got two losses under the belts, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, God, this is Randy's going to lose it, and he's going to RKO Riddle. And they didn't. Nothing happened except Randy just took the key from Riddle's mouth and put it in his pocket and walked away, or he threw the key or something. I forget what he did with the key this week.
Threw it in the tray.
And so we're all waiting for the shoe to drop, meaning we're all waiting for that RKO to be hit on Riddle. And I don't want it to happen for as long as possible. I think that they've caught lightning in a bottle here. I think it's one of those stories that WWE didn't anticipate the chemistry being as good as it has been when they turned that red light on, and it has been really good. And you're right. You like it for the exact opposite. Well, you like it actually for the same reason, just opposite people. And I love when they're together. They feed off each other so well. And it's the yin to the yang. And Randy doesn't say a whole lot. You can tell he's annoyed by Riddle, kind of that younger brother, you better shut your mouth and give me the key. And like the body language of Randy Orton is spot on. The complete opposite of Riddle, being this flamboyant, kind of over the top, talkative, talking nonsense, bombastic character. It's a great combination. So do you think that they're going to string this out for a while, or do you actually think that somebody's going to turn on somebody sooner than later?
Well, if we're looking at the tag team division right now, with the few amount of teams that they have, if we notice the Battle Royal, what it was just 4 complete teams and 2 people who both partners was injured. So just from that fact, I think they'll try to let them stay together for a while. I love it. I love their camaraderie. Now, do they win the championship is the question, because they did push the Viking Raiders, which I like. You know, they look good together. I love the big guy, Ivar. He be moving. Eric be moving. They have great camaraderie together, great tag team. I do think they deserve to push. I'd love to see Omos, I guess, come in and destroy them again. But I think that's our question. Everybody wants to see RK Bro versus AJ and Omos. But can they do anything with Big Omos? Or are they going to keep him the dominant force that wipes out everybody? That's the question. And I don't know the answer to that.
Well, you're right. I don't think there's any dispute that that's the matchup that we're waiting to see, because AJ and Omos are booked as the heel team. Randy Orton has kind of by default turned babyface without changing anything in his character, which I like, with Riddle, because they're so entertaining as a team. So eventually those two teams are going to collide for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I don't think there's any doubt. I understand the Viking Raiders have won and they're going to get an opportunity. I think they're going to lose, even though I like the focus on them. It's nice to see them in the ring doing what they do. They look and feel like a real tag team. They're probably the most tag teamish of all the tag teams, true tag teams on Raw. Not just 2 solo guys that got stuck together, but rather 2 guys that came up. They have matching outfits. They have the chemistry, all the whole 9 yards. But that said, they're going to probably lose to AJ and Omos. I don't think there's any question there. I could be wrong, but eventually it's going to be Matt Riddle and Orton, I think, carrying those championships. I actually think they will win them. AJ may go off on his own, which I know people have been asking for. And then I think that eventually, once Riddle and Orton drop the belts, maybe that's when you see a turn, is when they, one of them, loses the match, they lose the belts, and then the other one turns.
And I can see that. I think that is probably more than likely what happens. Obviously, with the turn, losing the belt, blaming the other partner. Yeah, that's totally WWE. But my question would be, when AJ and Omos, when they drop the belts, what's next for Omos? Are they going to try to do the Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels and push him to the moon? Or is this going to be AJ's time to shine again?
I think this is where you would wait for the crowd to come back, because I would wait for the audience to hear what they have to say about this team. And really you could say that for everything going on in wrestling as a whole, for the entire WWE. You could say, before we make our decision, guys, let's go back on the road. Let's get a sample of what the fans are thinking and feeling with this, instead of just being able to just do what you want. It doesn't matter because we control the narrative. We control the crowd noise. That's going away in a month. Thank the good Lord, because I can't wait to hear real people and not just, manufactured noise that they get to be God, control what we are, quote, saying about the product. So that would, to me, be a wait and see approach. I really would wait and see, because I don't want Omos going out there being lost on his own. I like his chemistry with AJ. Perhaps they stick together, but if they don't, right now he is kind of the Kevin Nash of WWE. Very limited moveset, but he's a massive dude. I can't expect it. I mean, I'm not knocking him on it. Of course he's going to have a limited moveset. The guy you talk about a presence, though. The guy has such a presence. I mean, he's a guy I would never, ever want to be walking alone on a road and come encounter with him. He is so intimidating. And I love his look. I think he's got a good future. Do I think it's eventually going to end at a world championship? Probably not. I don't know. It depends how good he is in the ring and eventually what he does solo on the mic. But I don't think Omos is ready to go solo. So let me just say that. I don't think he's anywhere near ready yet. So maybe he does stick with AJ until they feel he's ready, and then they split.
And I agree. Omos, he's a big guy, and he moves like a big guy, and I give him this. He looks as flawless as I think possible, especially for somebody as new as him. I mean, he looks good. Obviously, he's going to have a limited moveset. And AJ Styles, obviously, his career is not going to last 5 more years. I see AJ Styles in the future becoming an MVP role. I think he's going to make a great manager. And I can't wait to see AJ do that. He's great on the mic. AJ he's phenomenal, honestly. And I think he is somebody that WWE is not valuing like they should. They put the tag belts on him, and as I said in the mailbag, it's not really good for him. It's good for Omos. It's real good for him. But for AJ, I mean, it's good for him too. You know, it gets him another tag team title. He's got a belt. But, I mean, he takes a lot of punishment, especially at his age, you know, and he's got to be the guy always hot tagging. But, you know, his tag team is set up like that, and I get that as well. I just hate it for him. Hopefully he gets one more run in, but I see him a future great manager one day.
A manager that can also take bumps like MVP. I mean, he would take great bumps when he needs to and be a heel mouthpiece. I think. He could play both. I mean, he's been a heel for a while, so maybe he could be a babyface manager. I think that's still a couple of years away. I think AJ probably has 1 to 2 years left, and then he's going to hang up the boots. That's my guess. But it's nice that he's in a tag team for this reason, that he can share the bumps, so to speak. I know that Omos isn't going to take, or do like a Spanish fly off the top, but I'm just saying that he has somebody to share the bumps with when you're in a tag team match. It saves mileage on his body that already has a ton of mileage on it. It helps bring up new stars. That's what you want to do at this age, in his stage in his career and age, is to help others get elevated. I mean, he's in the give back portion of his career. I think we have stepped into that. We have stepped into the part where it's not really going to be about AJ. Maybe one more time, as you said, he might get one more run. But to me, he's in the give back stage of helping build that next big star or stars. He could be the head of a faction, but really it's about bringing up and elevating new talent. So yeah, he could have one more run with the belt. But I think if that happens, that'll be it. And then he'll go into an agent and or managerial role in the next probably 2 years. I would say 2 years would be the most.
And I agree. But the only problem, and we can use Randy and Riddle for comparison. AJ, at his age, is in the wrong tag team. He takes literally all the bumps. I haven't seen Omos take a bump. Randy's on the other side of that, where Riddle takes most of the bumps, and he comes in and do the Randy Orton thing. That's the only thing I hate for AJ. He takes all the punishment. I mean, almost gets in there and kills everybody. Almost hasn't touched the match yet. His back hadn't hit the mat.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he's helping build a star, but the number of bumps he's taking is almost equivalent to doing a singles match anyway with Omos, because Omos is such a huge dude. He's only going to come in and just dominate. I mean, Omos, has anyone even taken him off his feet yet? Has anyone even?
Nope.
No, right?
Nope.
Okay.
No, he's not touched the mat at all.
Oh boy, I hope he knows to flat back bump. I mean, the fact that he hasn't taken a bump, it makes sense though. Like, I'm cool with it because he should. If they envision him being a mega star down the line, when someone does come along and takes him off his feet, you can say that's the first time ever. They love them some historic first time ever moments. They could add that to Omos's resume of whoever takes him down. And imagine once they build him staring down Brock Lesnar, right? I mean, I'm just, I'm kind of spitballing here, but Omos does have the potential to eventually be that kind of attraction star. Rather than he'll never be known as a workhorse, right? Like, he's never going to be a guy that you look at and go, oh man, I love his in-ring style. He just brings me into the match. He's an attraction. His size is an attraction, and that's not a bad thing. You can draw money as an attraction, but he's never going to be known as a technician. It's just not going to happen. So, all right. Any final thoughts before I move on?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. Liv Morgan. Carmella. Liv Morgan gets the victory this week against Carmella. And another 50-50 booking scenario. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but last week, Liv Morgan lost to Carmella. This week, she beats Carmella. I don't really know what to think. I love what they're, if this leads to something with Liv, great. I want them to elevate new talent, especially Liv Morgan, who has been basically hidden in a tag team, unfortunately, with Ruby Riott. And if anyone noticed this week, and maybe you did, you seems like you're detail oriented, with her band on her leg, it said, I think it said something in reference to Ruby, but it said like RUB or RU something. I think it was in reference to Ruby Riott. But Liv Morgan gets the victory. Do you think this is leading to anything, number one? And number two, did you notice that on her leg?
I'm Dr. Dave Choksey. You've probably heard a lot about the more contagious Delta variant of COVID-19. In New York City, Delta is causing almost all new COVID-19 cases, which means that if you're not vaccinated, you're much more likely to get infected. But all of the authorized COVID-19 vaccines do offer strong protection, particularly against severe illness. Delta is concerning, but there is hope. Vaccination is our way out of this pandemic.
I think, honestly, no. I didn't notice it. Liv Morgan don't do it for me at all. I don't want to come off controversial at all, but she don't do it for me. She was better off in the tag team. I'd have rather you kept Ruby Riott if you asked me out of the two. So, spoiler alert for the later conversation.
Oh.
But no, I don't particularly care for Ruby Riott. Carmella playing her role. I ain't with all that dancing she does, but she playing her role. I ain't got no problem with Carmella, but Liv Morgan, I'm not here for that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. At the same time, have we even? This is called lack of character development again. We've gotten nothing from creative about Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott when she was there. I think Ruby, you would look at and go, was the bigger star. I mean, she looked different. I think she was a little bit better in the ring than Liv was. It seemed like she had momentum going at times, and then they'd cut it off and they'd stop. Liv Morgan was, I think, playing second fiddle, but she's the one that stayed. We don't know why. And we don't know anything about her. She's the generic blonde that has green glitter under her eyes. I mean, there's that's it. Like, she's just another blonde. They don't give her a voice. So without a voice, how do I know who you are, or why would I care if you win a match, right? So I don't know what to feel about this. I really don't. I don't know what this means for her career. I would assume she's a babyface here. With Carmella, I've said this before. If you heard my show, I don't like the over-sexualization of Carmella, or really when they do this with women at all. And again, I'm not this like pro-feminist, like, it has nothing to do with politics. I'm watching wrestling to watch wrestling, and anytime they focus on the sexuality of the character, it tells me they have nothing, deep to really tell you about her, other than just, cool, let me do a silhouette of a stripper dance, right? And then come out and talk about how beautiful I am. I get it's a heel move, but that shouldn't be the foundation for your character, is I'm beautiful and look at my body. Like, I don't know. I think it's just such a regression of what the women have tried to move away from, and Carmella's now re-embracing it. So maybe she should carry the Divas Championship next week. I don't know.
Hey, they could bring it back just for her. I totally agree, because, and from a different perspective, I'm a parent. My daughter likes to watch wrestling, and so I can't let her watch that. Yep. That's horrible. Mm-hmm. And women's wrestling has came way further than that. I mean, that's 90s grade crap.
It is. Yeah.
But hey, how Vinnie Mac, what he want to do. So, but I'm not here for that at all.
No. And I'm sure there's some guys out there, maybe probably younger, much younger, that are going, "Oh, this is so cool! Look how hot she is." I'm like, that is, I don't know. Like, if I want to see, hot women, and I'm a married man, and I'm not, not saying that, oh my God, I'm drooling over this, but look, if you're looking for that kind of thing, I'll just be very vague and say wrestling ain't the place to go to look for that. Okay, wrestling should be a place for wrestling, and that period. End of subject. I don't need any of that sexualization coming into wrestling. I don't think it adds anything, and I actually think it takes away. So, all right,
it takes away a lot, and that's like that evolution crap. You know, I'm not here for that.
I will say though, and I was actually going to ask you about that next. Evolution. It started out super sexual, and I criticized the hell out of it. And she's on a car showing off her body. Oh my! Look how good my body looks. Essentially saying that without saying it. But then it kind of morphed into, and maybe per the backlash from fans, morphed into like more of her training, more of her. I guess she's a personal trainer. More of in-ring, her training in the ring. It actually did morph a little bit more into just look how nice my body is to I put the work in and I'm going to show you what I've got when I come back on Monday. So I hear you, and there is still that element of sexuality with Eva Marie Evolution, but at least they've kind of drove the narrative to like sports based and wrestling based. So there is that a little bit better.
You start off how you end. I mean, when you start off, especially if you're bringing back a wrestler or a new wrestler, first impression is everything. And my first impression of that is crap. Yeah, they tried to clean it up. And I agree, they probably did get a lot of backlash and they tried to clean it up. But I already got a bad taste in my mouth for it. I'm pretty sure some people are looking forward to it. Not me.
Yeah. No, I'm not excited. Like, I actually did. Monday Night Raw, when I think of Monday Night Raw this Monday, I'm not going Evolution. I don't think anybody in this world is going, I can't wait for the Evolution debut. I really don't. The one thing is that it'll add depth to the women's roster, and it does need that. So, okay. Chad Gable, Montez Ford. Chad Gable and Montez Ford, I think, put on a hell of a match on SmackDown. I really, really enjoyed this match, too. SmackDown is just so much better. I mean, they had a great tag team match that we just discussed, and Ford versus Gable. I could watch these two, in a 60-minute Iron Man match. I would love these. They're so good together. Their styles are very similar. Ford is insanely athletic. You talk about a great amateur background with Gable. Of course, we know his Olympic accomplishments and things. But I loved this match. And beyond that, Otis, with a shaved face, comes out and destroys, to uncomfortable levels, Montez Ford. Dawkins tries to come back out and help, but Dawkins gets laid out again. And what is this a rebirth of Otis? That's question one. And two, did you enjoy the match between Ford and Gable?
Before I get started talking about babyface Otis, question: did you see the botch finish of the match?
Which the botch finish? Oh yes! Wow! Oh, the botch finish where he hit from the heavens.
From the heavens, and Otis didn't make it in time,
and he had to kick out because he missed it. He missed it. Yeah.
And you seen the ref, like she took her time to walk
trying to buy time for him. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes,
but I did like the match. It was a good match. Montez Ford is a future star. I mean, and I hate to say Angelo Dawkins is going to be the Marty Jannetty, but I'm telling you, Montez Ford is Shawn Michaels. He looks great. They're from the heavens. It's literally from the freaking heavens. And I love when he twisted. He didn't twist it this week, but I like when he does like that little half circle in the air before he hits you. I mean, great. Now, Otis, I'm going to be honest. Maybe it's just me, but some heels work better with facial hair. And I think him shaving his facial hair made him look a lot more soft. I mean, I'm going to be honest. He was angry. I'm not taking it serious because I'm looking at the beard. So for me, he was doing damage. I give him that. And he did damage. I love the Otis splash off the top. It's great. But the beard, it was just a distraction.
And I'm looking at a picture of him now, and with a shaved face. And I got to say, he looks. He doesn't look bad. I'll just say he does. He looks like he's an overgrown 16-year-old boy. He has a very young kind of look to him without the beard. And we'll have to see if we get used to it, or if it's as bad as like bald Shawn Michaels at the the Saudi Arabia event. I mean, like, if it's as distracting as that. I mean, and that is just, you talk about like one of the worst moments in Shawn's career. I mean, on so many levels with that match, that could be a whole nother show. But
what's worse, bald Shawn Michaels or Kane's wig falling off?
Oh, God. I forgot about that. Yeah, Kane's mask fell off. Oh my, that's right. He had to grasp for it. Oh gosh, I think they talked about it later about how terrible. I think was it Triple H who was on Austin's podcast. I forget. Somebody was just Undertaker. I think it was Undertaker who was on the Broken Skull Sessions talking about that match, thinking that, well, it's four guys, we work so well together. We're four professionals. This will be a walk in the park, and it was one of the worst matches you'll ever see on so many levels. It wasn't Goldberg Taker bad, but it was tough to watch, especially given the absolute legends that all four of those guys are. So anyway, I don't know what to think about his facial hair. I'll give it a couple of weeks and see if I look at him and just laugh, or if I look at him and go, okay, I'm getting used to this. I don't know yet. I'll have to hear him talk. I want to hear him on the mic.
Well, I heard him on the mic on Talking Smack, and it doesn't get better.
It doesn't.
They got him looking up at the ceiling, and I get he's part of the Alpha Academy, and I get I guess Gable's supposed to be like this straight guy, and clean face. That don't work for everybody, and I know they want to do something different with Otis, but I don't think that's the move.
Yeah. We'll see. I at least appreciate this. I appreciate them trying to change things up. Or Otis, whoever, I would assume it was his own personal decision to shave his beard. I don't know. So even if it doesn't work, I give him credit, or them, or whoever's responsible, maybe both, for at least trying to change things up a little. Like, people love evolution of characters, even if it's the small things. So I appreciate the effort on it, even if it does turn out to be a flop and he has to wait, 8 to 12 months to grow his beard back.
That's like Braun when he shaved his head. It just never worked for me, at least.
Oh, you did? I actually liked it. You didn't like it?
What?
Yeah.
The Mohawk ponytail. That's Braun Strowman. The bald head Braun Strowman with the beard. It just didn't work for me.
Well, Braun Strowman actually shaved his beard too. I don't know if you've seen that Instagram picture floating around.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So go search for that. Braun Strowman did shave his beard. Yep.
No.
Yes. It's gone. So check that out.
Strowman shaved his beard.
Yeah, not like a smooth cut. He's got it's just much shorter. It looks like he's grown it for like a month rather than 10 years. So
wow.
Yeah, check it out. All right. This may be the only real low point of SmackDown that's been going on as I kind of close out SmackDown here. Shinsuke Nakamura and King Corbin, to me, like, I love Rick Boogs. I think he's infectious. I think he's got something. Him strumming the guitar and all that kind of stuff with Shinsuke is fine to me. I really don't have a problem with it. It also is making Shinsuke somewhat interesting, even though he's been kind of demoralized over the last several years in WWE, not getting a whole lot of opportunity outside of like a Roman Reigns tease a couple of months ago. And now he's just relegated to stealing people's personal property and caring about wearing like basically a Burger King crown and caring that Baron Corbin cares about it because he believes he's a real king. I don't know. This is not a high point on SmackDown for me. Is it the worst thing I've seen? Is it Katie Vick bad? No, but it's just compared to everything else on SmackDown, this is just not good. Maybe you have a different take. What's your take?
Well, surprisingly, I do. I'm high on it. I really like it. This is no way comparable to Ricochet stealing Sheamus's
his hat and yeah.
Yes, but I do like this.